Hi, how's it going everybody, and welcome back to another Marvel Rivals video. This one's going to be a little bit different. Originally, this was going to be a live commentary, and then I kind of made the really dumb blonde mistake of not pressing record. But Marvel Rivals does have a replays feature, and I just did the game. So I actually remember 93% of like how this game went. The game wasn't exactly it was a close one in terms of like the first one. I mean, there were ups and downs. They did run into a situation in the later round where they only had one sport for a little bit, because they were tilting. But I think that there's like good stuff to be presented in this game, and I think that this would be a good opportunity for me to try something new and see how you guys like it. This is by no means going to be the main way that I make content for this game, but I figure maybe it'll be helpful for me to kind of cover a more deep insight on how these games go and my line of thinking without me having the rabble of playing the game itself in the middle of the recording, right? Because I know, as a lot of you guys know, these can become quite hard to talk about whenever the higher you go. So I record a lot of these, and a lot of them actually get scrapped in post because I want them to be beneficial to everybody. I don't want them to just be like, oh, look, I'm playing the game and I'm winning, right? I actually prefer whenever I'm playing mid to mediocre rather than me just steamrolling a game. And so that's why a lot of the ones that you actually see are going to be me being like, oh yeah, no, I did well. These are the things I did well, and not me just steamrolling a team that is like completely throwing the game, right? I think that we had a really rough start in the first part of this video. And I think that it's important to kind of identify and digest what we could be changing. They actually made some swaps on the other team that were kind of ludicrously dumb, but it happens. Regardless, here we are. We're starting out. I want to go ahead and talk about my positioning here. I'm starting to kind of be in a spot where, okay, I want to go ahead and get this out of the way. Magic is not a brawl first character. This character is still a dive. Okay, this character is still a dive. If you go and try to be a brawl first character on this character, you're gonna be okay. Like, she's not gonna be a throw, but you're gonna have a lot of situations where you just get completely snuffed out, and it's a hard time, right? You want to be mixing both, very properly. I don't want to say it's a spread of like 50-50 or like 60-40, that kind of thing. I'm just not going to do that. But there's going to be situations where you want to identify when is a good time to brawl and when it's a good time not to brawl, right? Does that make sense? So in a situation like this one, I would say that because my tank is quite timid, and you're going to see that a little bit, diving is not going to be my best friend because I've got no backup. If I'm going to dive, it's going to be completely reliant on what my Spider-Man is doing, and that is not good. We actually lose our second tank in the middle of this game, like in the middle of this round, I think after this fight. So immediately, just starting out, we go in, and our team is fighting, and they port, and they try to section off our team. I panic, and I make the decision without assessing who is behind to dash in to kind of help my team. And now this would ordinarily, wait, am I tripping? Yes. Okay. This is our spawn. They came out of this, so we're actually pinched. They have a tank here. They have the Invis and the Jeff, so they have no supports on this side of the map. The ideal situation is for me to slow down and not rush this so bad, but I was panicking so hard because I've seen this so many times where they pop this portal, kill my support, and then we're kind of just down tempo. And what tempo is whenever the other team's up a kill, you can kind of ramp the pace up. You know, whenever you're like, oh, hey, a support's dead, let's go, walk at them, that kind of thing. That's whenever tempo's like starting to rise and it's starting to build up. You just kind of make a steamroll effect. And a lot of fights actually come down to who has tempo. That's why whenever you see teams roll and all of a sudden you win one fight and it's a lot easier to stall, that's gone, right? Their momentum is kind of halted altogether. Same thing, I should have slowed down. I'm actually the reason why this fight is going to go so bad, I think, because I jumped the gun quite a bit, and because of that, you're gonna go ahead and see that it gets kind of hard. I kind of make a big indecisive, I'm very indecisive in this situation. And because of that, I go down here, and then I let myself get into a position where this Bucky's able to push. You never want to be able to do this. I should have kept high ground. There's no reason for me to not keep high ground. Even the people that are pushing behind me, I can clearly outrun these people. If Bucky gets near me, curtains, right? It's a big problem with Magic. Like, this is probably her worst matchup in the game, like, other than Daredevil. So as you can see, we kind of go in here, and we're gonna just start dropping like flies. I have to just completely disengage, and our team just falls over completely. I think that I am able to come in here and I help get this Strange, which is fine, but it really doesn't. So a lot of people would see this, well, I got mine, but the reality of this is like the only reason I did that is because I either want to die fast or get out. And I got the Strange, which is nice. It's going to be some ult charge income, and it's going to pad my stats and make me look like a better player, even though I did nothing of value. But overall, me being out of the fight, I completely just left them in a 5v6. Even without dying, it's a 5-on-6, and I'm essentially ended up in-game killing myself, right? I essentially got myself killed, even though I didn't have a death on the scoreboard because of that, right? Same thing. This is kind of where the shift needs to start taking, like planting a seed in the mind. This is just not going to work. I need to stop doing this. Granted, we do lose Punisher, but that's even more incentive for me to be like, hey, we're down 1, I can't push, I have to regroup, right? I need to go back to my team because we're down 1, they're going to get rolled over here. But instead of that, Bucky spots me, I get clocked immediately. This is a terrible push. And deserved, I died. I should have slowed it down. I should have, again, waited. I see the Punisher die, immediately back off, wait, pushes 6 again, or if Spider-Man gets a pick on a support, then we can readjust and push. I cannot make a miracle happen into the comp that they have whenever it is Bucky Emma. It's just not going to happen. Not to mention they're on 2 undivable supports in the form of Jeff and Invis. I'm just never going to kill them. It's a foregone conclusion. This is the situation where I would call Brawl being the best thing to do, especially if Invis is unbanned and it's another support like Jeff. If it's like Invis and Luna or Invis and Cloak, it's a lot easier because you can just target the one. But if it's like Invis Rocket, which is a really popular comp right now, Invis Gambit, which Gambit is like undivable pretty much as well, in the right hands, you know, you're just gonna run into issues. But I think Brawl is a really, really good situation here to be in, right? And it's a good, you can kind of flip it a lot more. As you can see, the state of the fight was over. Right here is actually where we can start to run an offense, so we can be a little bit stronger. We can help lead the charge. This is a ult, and we actually get a lucky pick. And this is where you're going to see the tempo shift, right? We're going to see it just turn up really, really, really quickly, where we're able to just completely walk over their team. Because 2 reasons. 1, we have ult advantage. They're running Jeff and Invis, so the Jeff ult is just not going to be something that they can use as a support ult, traditionally anyway. Actually, Jeff on this point is really, really good. You'll see why in a second. But we do have like a lot better ults for whenever we're winning a fight, except for Bucky, right? Because Moon Knight's more of a I break up your comp thing. Emma's more of a like come to me, like break up the synergy of the other team kind of thing. But they actually end up losing 2. We see that Spider-Man goes in. Oh, wrong play. Hold on. I'm completely wrong. And as you can see, swapping to dive immediately after we have the tempo, so that way we can move in. Very good. So this is a big thing. Jeff is actually able to capture people in his mouth whenever he sucks up in a whirlpool on one of these top ledges. When that happens, that becomes a bit of a bigger problem. The reason being is because you actually don't get to see the animation unless you're standing up here, so you're just going to see 3 of us get eaten. We're like, how the hell did we die? See, exactly like that. And props to the Jeff here. They're going to offset us quite a bit, and it's going to make this round really, really close. And I'm not a fan, but hey, it is what it is. I was actually really mad in the live recording of this video whenever I was doing this, because I had just gotten out of a game with toxic teammates. And I saw that, and I was like, there ain't no damn way. There ain't no damn way we're going to lose because of the sushi. Spider-Man actually gets an early pick, and that's super duper lucky for us, for obvious reasons. He actually goes back in here, and the biggest thing, play off of these contacts like this. We're looking, the Spider-Man's there, we see the Moon Knight go up, we assume that he's low because Spider-Man hits him with this whole combo, that's why he's in the air, you know? Other than the fact that if he gets HP, which even if he does, we're still building ult charge, and then we can roll over the team. But we get that pick, and Spider-Man already got a pick with his ult. This is a really, really important thing to play off of. Identify whenever you see these things. Do not get into a situation where you're only watching and absorbing the information that you are taking in. Look at your kill feed at the top of the corner. Make sure that you're pressing tab, looking at your cooldowns. What does your team have at the end of every fight and before the start of every fight? And try to play off of their contacts. Spider-Man gets 2 easy picks. This is a big thing. He's got so much value from us. If we do not play off of this, it is not his fault. We are completely just selling. So we need to go. And that's exactly what we do. I don't want to go overboard here because as we know, they do have Bucky and Emma, so I'm fine with hitting this Doctor Strange. He's a really easy target. He's a big giant meat shield that just stands there and takes it, and he can't guard our sword. Now, a big thing here is that you're going to see, I actually place my demon and I draw attention away because I want the Strange to be isolated. I want them to take and burn their cooldowns looking at me rather than the rest of my team, right? If they spend everything on one person instead of 5, much better for the rest of the team. But the big thing is you need to make sure that you go in with the intention of, I want to pull attention, not kill them. I am never in a situation where I can ever kill Bucky or Emma here. I want to pull their attention away from my team, divert it onto myself, and then as that is happening, back up, away, and then regroup with my team, and then refight whenever I know that I have more cooldowns, because all I'm burning is portals, which charge really fast on magic if you land your projectile. And because of that, Strange was left out in the cold, and then we are able to go in. Emma is able to regroup. They're down to support, or they're down to tank, and now we can ult. Which, stop holding your ultimates, by the way. If you can burn a supportal as magical, you're fine, because Magic's kit is good without the ultimate. It's very, very important that you actually get a lot of value by just burning it, and then you can also try to get a kill, especially on Invis, who's, you know, as long as you land your stuff, you can land. Okay, this is really good. This was kind of a bad cloak ult on our teammates' part, but it's fine. Hey, we won the fight, so I'm going to take it. And now this is the biggest thing, is that we want to get into a situation where we're not burning a bunch of our lives. You know, we don't want to just get ourselves killed over and over and over again. So this is where I call Marvel Rivals an information game. You want to take in as much info as you can so that you can make the most out of it, especially on a dive character. You need to be smart. You're on a melee character. You don't have a gun. You don't have a projectile of sorts that can be consistent damage. Put yourself in a position where you can see more than what they can, and then you can leave if you need to, right? You want to regroup, you want to ascertain what is going on, and then come back to your team. So we're going to... What I enjoy doing on this map, especially sitting and 3-peeking on this staircase, even if they come and they see me, it's fine. Moon Knight comes over. Strange is his only help. I'm not worried about that. As you can see, Moon Knight was a little dumb. He peeks me, and he gets clocked for it. Even though it was a Spider-Man, I'm not sure what he was doing. But now they're down 1. Now they're down 2 because the Strange ended up ulting and did so into an Emma. But, yeah, and now we can kind of run an offense and we can play with our tempo as much as we can. We're up 2 people. There's 3 and 4. And it's really good. And a lot of that is because we ended up getting a free pick on Moon Knight. So they were already down 1. So we were in a really good spot regardless of how this fight was going to progress. And in an even bigger spot whenever the Strange was not ready for the Moon Knight to explode, and then they were just down another person. So Moon Knight essentially has not been in 2 fights of the match so far, right? He's died at the start of both fights that were important to his team. He's 7 and 3, and that's nothing against the person. He just made a mistake. We capitalized on it. We identify, hey, he's going to be this guy that's just going to be, he's going to have to be the dude. He's going to have to be the sacrificial lamb, and that's fine. Doctor Strange, we're not too worried about. This character. Super easy for us to kite and just walk back on. So I did burn my dash there. Not very good, especially after he still had his bubble. Even then, it's fine. We regrouped with our team. We made them burn a lot of attention. Nomura wasn't there to help his team, and Spider-Man was able to go crazy. Very, very good. And now we're kind of able to walk in and then just take matters into our own hands and help build momentum off of their team. It is not always about... we don't end this game with like super low final hits or anything compared to the rest of the lobby anyhow, but it's not always about the kills. Stats don't always tell the whole story. It's also about what you're doing, and like, you know, identifying how are you helping your team. A big part of this though that I cannot stress enough is that just because you're not doing a lot does not necessarily mean you can just go, stats don't tell the whole story. I'm dropping I'm going 0 and 8. Stats don't tell the whole story, guys. Stats don't tell the whole story. Sometimes they do. You know, sometimes the disparity is so large that they do tell the entire story. But in this situation, we're doing well. You know, we're helping our team. We're diverting attention away from the rest of our team. We ended up coming back into the game and playing in a much better fashion. Once we identified, hey, dive isn't going to work. I just fed 2 kills. I either need to switch or change entirely. I need to just either switch or change. We changed. And because of that, we were able to run an offense, help our Spider-Man, and enable him a lot more, which is really, really good. Here we see that Spider-Man ends up getting a pick, so we ended up popping ult. This was optional here. I kind of just wanted to solidify a really early start, and I didn't know that Emma was going to get a free pick. Fine that we only got 1 kill with it. I'm not hating on it. I think overall it's okay. Again, Magic ult is really good, and it's super duper game changing, but, you know, it's just going to depend on how you use it. And like her, the rest of her kit's pretty fine. Right here, the thing that I'm looking to do, this Spider-Man did end up getting low. I want this Moon Knight to come out. He doesn't actually end up pushing out. That's fine. More so, I want to hold the position. I also want to talk about the area that we're holding up top as well. A lot of what we're doing up here is going to be, I can't really push for people to be doing this a little bit more positioning wise. Holding up here is a lot better if you're playing on dive than people give it credit for it, because if you just look at it like optically, there's like 2 routes that they can take, here and here, in these 2 doorways. If we're just kind of holding up here, then we will always know who is coming from where, when, and why. So like if Moon Knight pushes out, we're going to be fine. You know, we're not going to miss him. There's no way. Like, obviously, you can be wrapped over here. I don't even think most people know this path over here exists, other than whenever they're running away and they're like, oh, that's really lucky, right? So we're in a pretty good spot, especially if they come to us. Now, they are on 1 support for the moment. That does switch, but for now, it is what it is. I'm holding here. It's not always about doing, like, something super duper huge in terms of, like, flashiness. Just holding power positions, making sure that they can't take it. Moon Knight would be in a really good spot if they could take that high ground, because then he could wrap all the way around. This is fine. We double ult. It's okay. There's no sense in getting upset about it, because things like that are just going to happen. We're up the exchange. We're up around as well, so we just want to keep calm and do our best. Here we go and we break the rocket ult, because Magic is pretty okay at doing so because of her demon. And I don't really think that there's a big thing that we can do in this situation for the most part. We will get a pick on the Namor, but much like we talked about earlier, it's not always about getting a pick. I think that it'll be okay in terms of, like, our team will come back a little bit earlier than him. But overall, this kill doesn't really do a whole lot for us, right? There's not really a whole bunch, like, we can't go, oh, I got mine, because the fight's already over. We're just kind of getting scraps and getting leftovers for ult charge, which is fine. And again, it makes us look better in the endgame stats. But I just want to kind of harp on getting 1 doesn't always mean you got 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to come back and our team is probably going to be regrouped. And then there's still a good chance that I die here. Look at what I'm dealing with. Spider-Man or I could die here. Probably not Spider-Man, just because, like, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of what they can do to stop him from just flying away here. But regardless, you know, we're actually both in a really bad spot. Ideally, I should probably just jump off the map. Thankfully, they don't collapse on me and I don't end up dying, which is really good. But in Spider-Man as well, he also lives, which is great. We played our lives, we were able to get out. And now we can kind of play. I'm going to take the high ground up here because it's always better to, like, take fights from a high ground on Magic. This is a really good point for her. And I want to play behind a little bit more, especially because right here, this is a mistake. And this is kind of jumping into the same boat that I was talking about earlier. This is kind of one of the situations, and I used to do these a lot, where we play a game called Where's the Team and Where Am I? Where Am I is right in front of everybody, like a deer in the headlights, in front of 3 people with guns that are going to shoot me on sight, because where's the team? Yucatan. Could you tell me where that is? No, you can't, because it's so far away and you don't know. Like, we're getting got here. And what happens? You'll never guess. You'll never guess. We get got. So that sucks, and it's pretty bad, and I want to say that any fight that happens right here is actually at the fault of ours, because, like, if we end up losing this fight, it's because I just completely whiffed, and I went in without the rest of my team. This is the type of thing that I see players go, where are my heals? And they dive in the middle of all 4 of the people, and they explode, right? Not great. That's pretty bad. That's a low light for sure, but it's okay. Our team actually ends up picking Mr. Fantastic up. By the way, this guy was saying that his team was useless. He just did the same exact thing that I did. And then our Strange hits a battle, which is great. Our team actually ended up playing that really well. They are still on 1 support, which is kind of tragic for them. But the Rocket was putting in pretty good work. Like, this fight was still pretty winnable, I want to say. We do end up coming back. Our Spider-Man just hits a really big ult. then we kind of come back, and then like these things are kind of like you're seeing in a situation where like we're just playing off of the momentum that our team ended up building. We identify, hey, you know, they're losing, they're already down, so we can go kind of crazy. Especially if you're somewhat like me, where I don't consider myself to be as mechanically great as some of the really high elo Magic players, especially. I'm actually a lot better with like the guns and stuff like that on other characters. You kind of have to play off of these like momentum and these transition spikes a lot better, right? Kind of in the same way that like some like basketball NBA players are a lot better in transition. You know, we want to be that same thing because it's going to help kind of hide away some of our other, you know, not so pretty issues and flaws that we have, especially like with how we're playing, which granted, going back over these VOD reviews is a really good way of identifying, being like, why the hell did I do that, right? So it's actually helping me by putting this up there. And, you know, it's been a second, obviously, like we talked about earlier. Again, earlier we were talking about this angle up here. Spider-Man's holding it with me. We have a lot more information because of where we're holding. And because of that, we can kind of get cheeky plays like this one, where we can get just a really, really simple and easy kill on the cloak. Now, she does get res. That's just unlucky because we can't go break the res right after. But they're still down the healer for that, like, portion of time that's happening. And again, we pop our ult. We're just trying to dump as much damage as we possibly can. That's okay. I'm not too worried about it overall. And that's okay. Very good. Thor ends up ulting. And super duper solid. Again, we love to see it. And that's actually going to end up being the game. We ended up dropping 11, or Spider-Man dropped 14. You know, we were relative to the rest of the lobby. Nobody was really like having their like pop-off moment. But we had our lowlights. It's important that we address them, get them out of the way, and kind of understand what ended up happening. But I appreciate you guys watching this video. It's a little bit of a different one. This is more of an experiment to see what you guys end up liking. If not, then I don't mind like going back and doing only the other format. But this could be nice, like a little segment once a week on the Blade videos and other stuff. I know, and I hear you, that there are a lot of people asking if I will ever go back to reviewing other players' sessions. The answer to that is yes, not yet, but I will in the future. And because I'm trying to figure out a system to make that work. But for the moment, no, because I don't have a system. But it's coming, and whenever it does, you guys will be the first to know. But anyway, thank you guys so much. I hope that you enjoy your lovely Saturday. Have a good one. See you later, and love you. Bye. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Oh, go follow my other socials, by the way. Okay, now bye.